Hello everyone, today we are going to learn how to set up BurpSuite with Firefox. BurpSuite is a very popular tool that allows us to monitor server and client communication. BurpSuite has so many other features which we will discuss in other videos, but in this video we will just learn to set up BurpSuite with Firefox for intercepting web requests. Let us download BurpSuite first. For that, we need to go to portswigger.net. Portswigger is a company that created BurpSuite. Now, under Products, click on any edition of BurpSuite. As this video is for beginners, I will download the Community Edition. Once I click on Download, it will take some time for download. Now, the download is complete. Just click on it now. Tap Next. 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 And finally we are done. Now, let's open our BurpSuite. Click on Next. And start Burp. This is a user interface of BurpSuite. Now, let's move to the Proxy tab. Here, under Options, we can see an IP address along with the port 8080. This is an IP address and port that BurpSuite uses to listen the incoming connections from our browser. So, we need to set this IP address and port in Firefox in order to capture request. Now, we are going to open Firefox. And we are going to Options here. And down below, here is Settings. We will select Manual Proxy Configuration and write the IP address that we saw on BurpSuite, which is 127.0.0.1 and port is 8080. Also, check this button. Now hit OK. Another thing what we need to do here is add certificate to our browser so that the browser trusts the traffic that is being intercepted through Firefox. So, in the Search tab, type http://burp. Let's download this CA certificate. Now, we are again going to Options, and in the search bar, search for the term Certificates. Now, click on View Certificates. Go to Authorities and click Import. And now choose the certificate file that we just downloaded. Check both of these options and click on OK. We can check whether it has been installed properly again or not by just importing again. If it is installed, we will get the message saying the certificate is already installed. Finally, we are done. Now, we can intercept the web traffic on Firefox. For example, I will write google.com and go to BurpSuite. We can see that request is being captured. We can see the request and responses here. In this way, we can intercept web requests with Burp using Firefox. But, here is a little problem. Now, if we need to search anything on Firefox, either we always need to open BurpSuite or change the proxy configuration to auto, which is kind of a little boring. So, there is a solution for this. We can use the extension called Foxy Proxy in order to overcome this issue. Today we are going to set up Foxy Proxy plugin in our browser. The main idea of doing this is, we can switch between multiple proxies within a single click. So let's begin. Now I am going to Browser. And I am going to Options here. Now down below in Settings. Here, make sure User System Proxy Settings is selected and hit OK. Now I am going to addons.mozilla.org to download Foxy Proxy. And in the search box, I will type Foxy Proxy. If you are on Chrome, go to Google Chrome Web Store and search for Foxy Proxy and install from there. You can download this extension if you are on Google Chrome. Now coming back, I will click Add to Firefox. Then in the top right corner we will see this icon from Foxy Proxy. Now click Options. Click on Add. Now you will see a window for adding proxy details. Firstly, let's add the title is Burp. We can set different colors for this proxy. I will go with the green one. Now, we are going to set the IP address of Burp. Let's go to Burp, Options, and here is an IP address and port. We need to add the same information in our Foxy proxy. So, let's write the IP address is 127.0.0.1 and port is 8080. We can set the username and password as well. But, I will leave this for now. And let's click on Save. Now, let's click on the Foxy proxy icon and choose Burp. Now, let's type in google.com. There is an error saying the connection is not safe. We now need to add Burp certificate in order to prevent this. So, in the search tab, type http://burp. Let's download this CA certificate. Now, we are again going to Options, and in the search bar, search for the term certificates. Now, click on View Certificates. Go to Authorities and click Import. And now choose the certificate file that we just downloaded. Check both of these options and click on OK. Let's hit Reload in the Google Chrome. You can see that now site loads and we can see that the requests are being captured in Google Chrome. So, now if you don't want to capture the request you can simply turn off and Firefox uses its own settings. And if you need to capture the request, just turn the proxy on. In this way, we can set up Foxy Proxy in our browser. Today we are going to learn how to use BurpSuite for the first time. This is a user interface of BurpSuite. I am using the Community Edition here. I highly recommend you to use the Professional Edition if you can afford. But to begin with, the Community Edition, which is also free, does the best job. I hope you have Foxy Proxy add-on enabled in your browser. Let's use Foxy Proxy and choose this Burp proxy on our browser. So in today's session, we are mostly looking into Proxy and Repeater tab. Now, let's go to the Proxy tab. Here you can see that Intercept is turned on. This button actually works as a door of communication between our browser and the server. Intercept is off means door is opened for the communication, and Intercept is on means door is locked. You can switch between on and off by just tapping the same button. So, before understanding what it does, let's learn how BurpSuite works. So, do you know how you see results when you type anything in your browser? Let's say this is your browser and you type facebook.com here. Now, what happens is your query reaches to server of Facebook through internet and you will see the response that is provided by the Facebook server. Now, if we configure BurpSuite with our browser, what happens now is, when you type Facebook, the request reaches to BurpSuite first and it reaches to Facebook server. And also, response from the server will pass through BurpSuite and reaches to your browser. This means BurpSuite can view all the communication that is being made between your browser and the server. Therefore, Burp is also called man in the middle or proxy tool. Let's come back to our BurpSuite. So this button controls either to let our browser communicate with the server or not. If Intercept is off, it allows for the communication, and if it is on, it prevents the communication. So, let's open Facebook here. You can see that website does not load. It's because the Intercept is on here, and when the Intercept is on, we know BurpSuite blocking the communication between browser and the server. Now, let's turn this off. And you can see the website loads normally. So, let's say if we want to see what information are sent to Facebook when I tap the login button. So, for this, we again need to turn the Intercept on and let's click login. And you can see here, these are the information that are being sent to Facebook server whenever I log into my browser. Here is my session cookie. Here is a browser information I am using. Referrer, origin and all. Also it contains some kind of encoded parameters. These Jazzoist, email, login source etc. are called parameters. Now, I can manipulate or change any parameter here and forward the request to Facebook server. And if Facebook has no proper authentication, I might find a bug here. So, what I did for intercepting the request is, I turned the intercept on and then went back to Facebook and clicked login. Now, I came back to Burp, and I saw what information is being sent to Facebook server. In this way, we can intercept any web traffic and see what requests are being sent to Facebook or any web application. Let's see how we can use Burp in practical scenario. I am going to give a practical demonstration on Facebook.com. Here are 3 Facebook users, User 1, User 2, and User 3 along with their login credentials. I created these test accounts by going to facebook.com/whitehat/accounts. You can also create test accounts if you would like to test and find security bugs on Facebook. Now, I will log into Facebook as User 1. Let's turn this intercept off first. We will turn the intercept on only when we need to see the request. So, I am back to Facebook. Now, I will go to User 2's profile and wish User 2 a happy birthday. User 2 is already a friend, let's go to Friends, and click on User 2's profile. Now let's write happy birthday here. Now, before clicking Post, I will turn the intercept on so that we can capture the request. Now, I will hit OK and here we will find which is the request sent to Facebook server for creating a birthday wish. There are multiple requests sometimes and we keep clicking on forward unless we get the desired request. And, to know which is the main request, let's use a trick here. Since I wrote, happy birthday, let's write happy birthday in this field and keep hitting this forward button. See, this request consists of the word birthday, so this is the request we are looking for. It might be confusing since there are so many things here. Also there are percentage and other characters which makes the request difficult to read. This is called encoding. Encoding is generally done for safer communication and for some security reasons. You can see that how Facebook.com is written in URL encoding and base 64 encoding. All 3 of these mean for the same thing. Let's see how. I will use the decoder section in Burp to find out this. Paste the encoded form and just hit Smart Decode. You can see that this is a full URL of Facebook. Now, let's copy the third one and paste it here. Now, I will click Decode. Since this is base 64, I will choose base 64. And here it is. You can see that all of these mean for the same thing. Actually, encoding is very interesting topic. If you wish to learn more about encoding, there is a link in the description below. So, for now we are looking to this variable area, so I will decode only this area. Let's copy everything that is on variable section. Now, right-click and choose Send to Decoder. Now, here are so many decoding options, but let's choose Smart Decode now. And our request is decoded, and let's copy this all and paste it here. I replaced the earlier difficult text and pasted it here. Now, let's read this. Here is a parameter called toID. Since I am posting on User 2's timeline, this should be a Facebook ID of User 2. Let's verify from here. And you can see both ID matches to each other. So, let's see what happens when we replace the Facebook ID of User 2 by User 3's ID. Let's replace this by ID of User 3. And let's hit forward for multiple times. Now, turn this intercept off and let's go back to Facebook. And let's now copy User 3 ID and go to User 3's profile. I will go directly from URL. And finally, the post has been shared to User 3's timeline instead of User 2. This is the use case of BurpSuite. What I did here was, I initially went to User 2's account and wrote a happy birthday there. Then I captured the request on Burp before clicking on Post. Then I replaced the User 2's ID with User 3's ID. And forwarded the request. And the result was, the birthday message was written on user 3's timeline. This is called intercepting and modifying request using Burp. This is the most common use case of Burp. Now, let's talk how Ananda Prakash, a researcher from India, was able to find a very serious bug on Facebook by modifying user ID like this. Back in 2014, there was a feature for sending video card to friend. What he actually did was he intercepted the request before sending that video card. And he saw a parameter there called sender ID. Sender had his Facebook ID by default, but he changed to someone else's ID and the message was sent from that someone else's account to his friend. For example, he could have replaced his ID by CEO of Facebook Mark Zuckerberg's ID and his friend would receive video card from Mark Zuckerberg's account. So, using this bug, it was possible to send video card from anyone's Facebook account. This was a very serious issue for all Facebook users. So, the issue was fixed within several hours of being reported and the researcher was rewarded with $12,500. So, in this way, we sometimes might find highly impactful bugs by just intercepting and modifying values using BurpSuite. So, I request you to try finding some bugs with similar method. In the next video, we will be talking about other use cases of BurpSuite. We will mostly focus on repeater and intruder section. Please do like and subscribe if you find this video useful. Thank you.